The 10-minute drill.
This is a big one.
Covered by Universal Roof and Contracting. The difference is universal.
On 1010XL.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Hit it. All right, sports concepts and rationalizations coming your way. We call it the 10-minute drill. Beef, do we have a prize pack this week?
Oh, Dan Dewey.
Oh, wonderful.
It's part of the Father's Day gift guide at 1010XL.com. Head over there to find great gift ideas for your dear old dad. All week, we're hooking up one Guggen every day with a Pirates pack that features a $25 gift card from Tobacco Cove.
It's the forgotten holiday, you know.
A $25 gift card from Woody's Barbecue.
Yes.
And a cornhole beanbag kit with koozies from our friends at Mystic Cornhole.
And that's coming up this weekend, Father's Day, I believe. Is that correct?
Unless they've canceled.
Or is it next weekend?
It's this coming weekend.
Is it?
Yeah. Forgotten holiday.
If you look at any mock draft, one of the things we said that's been most frustrating is that we are DAL, right? The Jags. When we look at things, we're the 32nd ranked team in the power polls. It's getting kind of hectic, and we're the first team in the mocks, the way too early mocks, right? So we look at that and we go, what's going on here? So now there's an article out by the guys at the Draft Network. Gardner Minshew's 2019 success could be bad news for the Jags in 2020. The hypothesis is he's going to be good enough to win some football games, and by winning football games, you're not going to get the first pick, and in the long run, that's going to hurt you because his ceiling is that of Derek Carr, Andy Dalton. And that's what the premise of the article is. Now, let's look into it a little bit and discuss, but do you see the point of the premise or no?
Oh, I've said this all along.
Yeah.
If Gardner Minshew, but I've said it from this perspective. If Gardner Minshew wants to keep his job, then just go out and win 5 games.
Yeah.
Because you can't get up, you can't get the upgrade. And if you win 5 games with this team, that's probably accomplishing something. So that's what it's going to be too hard to tank for this football team because you got a young, feisty quarterback who wants to prove not that he can keep the job for a year, but that he can be a career starter. So, 100% see where that article's coming from.
Okay, so we start to examine it a little bit, and, their point, again, talking about the Jags not being very good. Now you have guys like Taven Bryan, Avery Jones, Rashawn Melvin instead of Calais Campbell, Marcel Darius, Jalen Ramsey.
Oh, that hurts. Ooh, stop.
Yeah, Jags are eating $37 million.
But it'll be a 4-3.
In dead cap as a result of many veteran cuts, including the $18 million whopper left behind with Nick Foles. Foles was replaced by Gardner Minshew, who was the most efficient of all the rookie passers. And this is analytics stuff, so you could comment on it more. Adjusted net yards attempt, 6.45 was the best of all the rookies, and a 21-6 touchdown interception ratio. Now, Minshew's stats impress and are reflected in film, and they show some shots of him from up top. But there is reason to expect some heavy regression. Minshew was the best passer in the NFL on attempts with at least 20 air yards, a passer rating of 129, but only attempted deep passes about 10% of the time. With no deep interceptions and such a small sample size, we should expect Minshew's deep success to drop back down to the league average as well. It's also reasonable to expect Minshew's deep success to regress because he wasn't really that accurate of a passer overall.
I saw he was bottom 5, with Josh Allen and a couple others. I can't remember.
Minshew was the second worst in the league in NFL Next Gen Stats completion over expectation stat.
That's it.
Which considers separation,
you're supposed to hit guys that are open,
and pass rush to define completion expectation. Minshew's completion percentage adjusted for drops was 32nd in the league between Eli and Trubisky. With that said, Minshew can function well as a point guard style quarterback, and I think that makes sense, right? And it seems like Jay Gruden would be the good fit to make him do that, right?
I think so.
As the Jag offense gets better around him, more explosive players like Chark, second-round yak monster Laviska Shenault should turn more of Minshew's shallow throws into positive gains. But you do believe, too, now, NFL teams also have the book on Minshew, right? So they're going to attack him differently now, I think. Meanwhile, traditional West Coast coordinator Jay Gruden replaces the fired John DeFilippo, who gave Minshew the lowest percentage of play-action passes in the league last year, despite the fact Minshew's completion percentage rose by 19% when throwing after a play-action fake. So, okay. It's just some pros and cons about him. His best trait, however, remains his pocket management, After his first career start, people were saying Minshew can and did survive pressure during the Texans game, but what he did more frequently was manage the pocket with anticipation, and that's what he's good at.
Which, by the way, is a huge strength on a team that's not real good because you're often having to manage the pocket.
Nothing he did in year one, even though he was better than anyone could have hoped for a 6th-round selection, looks like a deterrent for the Jaguars to go chasing Lawrence with that number 1 overall pick. And with regression expected for Minshew, nothing he'll do in year 2 will be a deterrent either. But if Minshew is able to hang around his current production levels, do some more good work off play action, scamper his way to a couple of wins, he won't so much prove a better option than Lawrence than he will price the Jags out of the pick. Minshew's ceiling in the NFL is low, but it is high enough that he could drag the franchise into the purgatory only known by middling fringe starter quarterbacks who aren't bad enough to give you an early pick, but not good enough to consistently churn out winning seasons. And here's where he makes the point. The Jags must be careful with Minshew. If he is the quarterback of the future, he'll prove it this year, but his career arc is that of a Derek Carr or Andy Dalton and no more. Now, that could be wrong, by the way.
Yeah. Sure. No, there's nothing concrete.
We here in Jacksonville are hoping he's Drew Brees.
Absolutely.
Who is not big.
Or I'll take. Listen, I know he fell out of favor a year ago. You hope he's Baker Mayfield is probably a better one.
Yeah.
He plays more like Baker Mayfield.
Baker has that big arm, though. Yeah,
he does. The arm thing is funny to me because again, I didn't see him short. Now, look, if your point is like fitting it into windows, maybe that's the deal. But we went back and looked at the measured velocity, and it was higher than most quarterbacks.
Yeah, I know.
He threw it like he throws hard. At some point, look, skill level is. Let's differentiate between what skill level and what arm strength are because we never talk about Deshaun Watson's arm strength.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
He threw it like 48 or something, remember?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I do.
So
it's interesting, too, and I was looking at the video that this article showed with Minshew on his deep balls. Like he hit, remember Conley against the Falcons and the Titans game and the Colts game at the end of the year. And so I was looking at him, and the thought, when watching it, it was interesting. And I'm not sure if this is normal, but he got the snap, and he was going to that guy because he had that guy in single coverage. But when he threw the ball, because, Minshew, he does throw that high arc, right? He doesn't, I don't remember as many back shoulder throws. But anyway, these are the deep balls. When he threw it, our receiver the corner was in front of our receiver. And our receiver got past the corner and made a great catch. Now, they were terrific throws. I mean, hit these guys right in stride. But it's interesting how he did that with the idea that he trusted the receiver.
I think it's also, Dan, been very undersold that he played catch-up all year. Gardner Minshew went out there that first weekend holding his helmet, thinking that I'm going to soak this up all year. And by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, he was in the game. And so I am intrigued, and this is one reason that this is a terrible year for the COVID to strike, but I'm intrigued to see what does Gardner Minshew do now that he is the starter. He knows he's a starter. He's working towards being a starter. He's going to have 1,000 times better grasp of the offense, even though it's changed because he's preparing to. And I do like this about Minshew, and he's easy to root for. Mm-hmm. He knows he's got a short rope, Dan.
Yeah, sure he does.
Gardner Minshew knows he can't go out this year and complete 58% of his passes and win 2 or 3 games and have any chance to be a starter moving forward. It'll be it. It'll be his moment in the sun would have been the 2019 season.
So the Jaguars are the running favorite to grab Trevor Lawrence next year. And as such, what seemed like good fortune last year might be the worst news for this year. This is the end of the article. Minshew is a fully functional NFL quarterback, and while his rookie year may have been a blaze of glory that he never repeats, his backup-level play could win the Jags more games than they bargained for in 2020. So it does put them in a little bit of a pickle in the respect that if you look at the way they have attacked this season, in every other area, they are, there's been a noticeable drop-off in talent. And now these rookies may be good, but they're still going to be rookies.
There's a couple that just, I don't know if they throw it in there to throw you off the scent or, the only places that it was kind of odd by the money and by the production level were Eifert and Schobert.
Yeah.
They paid pretty good money.
Well, Schobert, Eifert ended
that's
up
true
not
too.
being that
but
much.
if Eifert does what you want him to do, he will be expensive.
Well, Eifert, though,
if he reaches numbers.
Eifert played all the games last year and still only. I think the wear and tear of the.
Yeah, I hear you. And it's only, what did we learn?
I don't think
$3 million, not
I
$9
don't
million.
think Eifert is going to have a 60 catch.
I don't either.
13 touchdown season ever again.
Well, or if that happens, then Dave Caldwell absolutely busted another third rounder because Oliver has gotten to show up this year.
Right.
I mean, that's a third round draft pick.
Right. Oh, I'm well aware.
No, I know.
So anyway, but the point being, as they constructed this team and we started watching, Calais Campbell get released and traded and AJ Boye get traded and these guys all get moved and then make the point to go with Minshew, which is fine. It seemed like the right thing to do. Everything there looks like, okay, they're starting over. And I guess, but having Minshew, who won 6 games last year with a team that played a 5-game stretch as bad as anybody in the last 40 years in the NFL, will be interesting this year.
I'll say it this way.
Yes, sir.
Now, we've already said that he has the 5th most touchdowns already, or wins. He has the 5th most wins already, Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
But would you agree that Gardner Minshew is far from the worst quarterback we've had here?
Oh, yeah.
And have we had some really bad teams in Jacksonville the last 10 years? Never had the number 1 pick. I would suggest that if the Jags are playing for the number 1 pick, that's a very flawed logic. Do you think they're going to have the number 1 pick? I don't.
No.
Yeah, and if you don't have the number 1 pick, you're not getting Trevor Lawrence.
A much better chance of us having the number 1 pick than hoisting the Lombardi.
Well, that's every year pick. The last year that hadn't been the case was 2018, and then we very quickly learned that was actually the case that year.
What do you make of this nonsense with baseball? I mean, it's and if the circus begins and Manfred orders them back for a 48-game schedule, how many sit out? How many just say, "Yeah, I'm not doing that"?
I don't know. I'm gonna stand by this, Hick, and it's gonna be very unprofessional because we host a morning sports radio show.
Yeah.
And commentary on the World Series would be applicable.
Yeah.
If the Atlanta Braves aren't playing, I'm not watching for 1 year.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it matters. I don't know if they care. It probably won't even register.
Yeah.
I'm not watching, but I will watch Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals before I'll watch the ALCS. Baseball can GTH. I wish my favorite team in all of professional sports wasn't the Atlanta Braves, or I'd cut them off right now. But the way have they reacted and shown for themselves during this, to me, makes them unrootable. I don't want to root for any of you people. I don't want to root for the owners. I don't want to root for the cities. I don't want to root for the players. And they can all GTH, and I mean it. When we get to October and we're discussing the World Series, if the Braves aren't in it, you and Beef knock yourself out, and I will trust you. I'm not going to watch an inning.
Yeah, we'll watch
because you know why?
Yeah. Because
I've got NBA Finals. I've got Major Golf. I've got stuff. Now, if it weren't those seasons, then I probably would anyway. But
the real eyebrow raiser, though, as the owners are poor-mouthing, losing money, is somebody, of course, lets it slide out. Oh, we got this $1 billion deal with Turner Sports to continue airing the playoffs.
I saw that this weekend. You guys are some.
Boy.
I know the idiocracy
is
here.
Good optics, peeps.
But for some of us that are marching on the front lines of the idiocracy, trying to protect the inherently stupid, we're not all dumb.
Yeah.
You can't be crying poor and then announce a $1 billion agreement.
Yeah.
We can all divide $1 billion by 30.
Did you watch the McGuire-Sosa deal last night?
I put it on, Hick, this morning. I taped it. I put it on this morning, and after about 5 minutes, I knew right away this thing sucks. So I didn't watch another minute. And
I'm not. You know me. I love the docs, and I gave it much longer than that, but I lost interest.
It wasn't any good,
and
nothing new. At all.
Didn't finish, so I don't know. Beef, did you watch it?
I hated it.
It never got good, dude.
The thing that I don't know is, and I watched and I looked and I didn't see the whole thing though. Did they ever address steroids?
Yeah, at the end.
Very late.
Yeah, it's stupid. They rode the whole thing. It was almost like the 98 season, blindly enjoying it, and then, it's the dirty secret.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until the very end that and by the way, wicked cheetahs.
And that was it? Did they talk to him about it? Or Sammy's still hasn't, right?
I don't know.
No, even though he got popped.
What did Sammy do to his skin color?
I don't know, but he was on.
I don't think he's done anything.
He was on.
Oh, it just faded?
Oh no, he
did something.
He did something. I think.
I mean, he's
Well, no,
like
I mean, I think you might have that vitiligo.
it's going away like that. All natural.
I think so. I'm not sure.
Well, I'll say this: he looked pretty good last night on SVP.
Yeah, that's where I saw him.
I thought he looked good.
I think it's just. I know Beef's a sports fan. A Cubs fan. We talked about this a little bit earlier. I think it's disgusting that the Cubs have completely banished Sammy Sosa.
Oh yeah,
he carried that franchise to relevance for 4 or 5 years.
And in fairness, the reason why Bonds and Clemens and McGuire and Sosa get hammered because they were the best players, but they weren't the only ones. It'd be one thing if they were the only ones, but
or not. So it's a bleaching cream I apply before going to bed.
That's what I thought. Yeah, he bleached him. That's what I thought he did.
There were so many others who did it. So it's, but anyway, I asked this with our drill poll question today presented by the Edge Group. Need to sell your property fast. Residential, commercial, call them 904-474-5851. Thoughts on McGuire and Sosa? Saved baseball? Just a couple cheaters? Hall of Fame bound, or summer of 98 was awesome?
I'd say summer of 98 was awesome.
Well, you're right. 43.5%.
I would say that too.
29.2% just a couple cheaters. 20% saved baseball. 6.9% say Hall of Fame bound. Not anytime soon. You can vote at Dan Hicken. I will say this. I forgot that, and by the way, another thing that they needed desperately to do. Where's the interview with McGuire's kid? I wanted to hear it from his vantage point.
Yeah, because he was around through the whole thing.
Oh, gosh, they kept showing him.
It wasn't a good doc.
But
it was just seemed like it was almost thrown
together.
There
were
were
some good moments, but it was disappointing. But I forgot that the talk going into the year was can he or Griffey do it?
Yeah.
Because McGuire had hit 58 the year before. So he had gotten close. So 60 was the magic number. And then LaRussa, and they did make it a good point that and LaRussa said this, the pressure was on from the very first at bat, and he hit a grand slam in the opener. And he came out so hot. Remember McGuire hit he said, well, I had broken it down to I got to get 10 a month, and I thought I could do that. And the other thing is, when he hit it, they weren't little just clear the fence homers, man. He crushed those.
One of the great. And McGuire said that he had more pressure than Sosa, and that was fair because that's why he had hit so many the year before the season started with this expectation. Right. I thought that
Sosa did get hot till Beef. I think in June.
Yeah, he went crazy in June. But I'll tell you, an undersold
20 in June.
Yeah. Beef, did they ever even mention? Because I remember 1998, Dan, and us doing shows. You know, I remember doing the sportscast during that time, and through that summer, it was the lead story just about every night. And I remember, Ken Griffey was a big part of that for half the year.
Yeah,
we put up a board that had Sosa, McGuire, and Griffey.
They talked about that.
Yeah, but I didn't.
They talked going in. They said it was going to either be Griffey or it was going to be McGuire. Yeah. So they did set that up, and they did a little part on Griffey. They probably should have interviewed him, but then they didn't want to make it about him, I guess. So, or maybe he said no. I don't know. But
he said, I don't want to be associated with those cheaters. Maybe.
Yeah.
You know what the documentary I want to see though, Dan, actually is? I want to see the one on Greg Vaughn and Vinny Castilla and these guys that hit 3 or 4 home runs and then hit 40. That would be a good documentary.
The poster child for that is the former Orioles center fielder
Brady Anderson. That's another one. There's a bunch of them. We were looking at some of them. So.
But I was looking at that 98 list after those 3 guys.
Yeah.
It's like. It's Greg Vaughn, Albert Bell, and Vinny Castilla.
Yeah, jeez, it was, but it saved baseball.
And I'll tell you one thing:
it saved baseball.
It saved baseball, but it killed the individual career from this standpoint. Players there's an assumption without verifiable proof, and so guys like Gary Sheffield and Manny Ramirez, and are they going in the Hall?
Yeah.
I don't. Is there anyone in the Hall who is an admitted steroid user yet? Did Bagwell admit to using steroids? I can't keep up.
I don't think Bagwell ever
admitted. Pudge. I don't know how we all don't know Pudge did. The Pudge's natural figure right now we see about 170 pounds. The guy played like a 215-pound bowling ball for however many years. Maybe that's
the guy that they think started open door was Piazza, even though he said I know.
Never I'm talking about a guy who's like Pettit. Pettit should be in the Hall. Why is he not in the Hall because of the steroids?
I don't know.
Were you listening when we said? Did you know how many wins Pettit has? 256.
Oh yeah,
and all those postseason wins.
He
should have been first ballot. No.
Well,
to you is he?
He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he is to me too. I don't know how he's not getting any run.
All right, let's head to break. We'll continue. We got Pacelli today. Is that
we
confirmed?
do? I had a fun little time going down memory lane this weekend. Our simulated memory lane, and it's led to a pop quiz that I'll have for you in your football supremacy.
All right, well, we'll do that when we come back. A lot more
right
ahead.
now.
Let's do caller number 2 for the Father's Day prize pack at 641-1010, Beef.
Yeah, call number 2 right now, 641-1010. Going to take over a selection from our Father's Day gift guide. $25 from Tobacco Cove, $25 to Woody's, and a Cornhole beanbag kit with koozies from Mystic Cornhole. Get those and other great gift ideas at 1010XL.